hearing all these other speakers, I wanted to ask, because you just found out that I'm a Parkinson sufferer. I'd like to see a show of hands. How many folks in here are fellow inmates? I can see it in your faces, it's courage, because you got to live with that every day, because you have no other choice. This is what we got. And that's okay, because there are certain advantages to having Parkinson's. Did you know that? If you think about it? Think about it. And here's a couple I was thinking of as I was sitting in back. Don't ever get in a stare-down contest with a Parkinson's patient. We can sit for hours and not move. Anybody like dice? We're really good at shaking. I felt it appropriate because we're all kind of locked in our own struggle, our own world. I mean, everybody's locked into something. Parkinson's patients have their own unique way of dealing with things, and it can feel confining. That's most definitely a concern. When something else controls you, which you have no control over, that can be frustrating if you allow it to be frustrating. Every brain produces dopamine, which is the natural ingredient that fires the synapses at the base of the nerves, the spinal column, where the head is thinking of doing something, and there's a firing there, there's a piston-like thing, and the body responds to it. Well, in a Parkinson's patient, you don't have that dopamine, so you don't have that firing mechanism. So everything you do, there's a pause, because there's a moment where there's got a pause, and then you go through, and then you got to think about it. So you got to think about everything you do. Motor skills get me through much of the day, or motor memory, muscle memory, because everybody's used a fork a million times in their life, so I know how to use a fork, but there are things that are more difficult. L-Dopa is the one main treatment of Parkinson's patients. They get you on carbidopa. Levodopa is the main drug, and that's fake dopamine. It tricks the brain into thinking you're producing dopamine. And when I'm on my meds and I'm taking them and they're at their peak performance, I feel as normal as I did 25 years ago, and it feels great. But those wear off like all medicines do, so you got to take them longer, and hopefully they remain with you at a longer time. But there are three main, not types of Parkinson's, but three main maladies that come with Parkinson's that affect patients differently. Bradykinesia is the slowness of movements, like the Icelandic movements, the slow body movements, the take careful time to reach for something, to move something. That's affecting me right now, along with kind of a fidgetiness, which is odd that they're kind of against each other, but that's just what my body is going through, and it's happening. That can affect people as bad as the shaking. When most people learn that you have Parkinson's, the first thing they think of is, oh, I don't see you shaking, because most people equate that with Parkinson's with shaking, when in fact that's just one of the three things that can happen to you, this bradykinesia as being one of them. So it just depends on which symptom gets you the most. That just happens to be one of them. There are others. Dyskinesia is like a tic, like a Tourette's type of thing. Sleep jerk, or you know, you're sitting in a chair and your arm jerks up for some reason you don't understand why. Those types of things happen to me pretty much regularly. When I'm down more than when I'm on, and when I'm moving around, they don't, of course. But if I'm sitting stable, so driving in a car or just resting, going to bed or something, I'll have a movement, an involuntary movement, tics, that type of thing. And those tend to grow with time. If you see me in 25 years from now, and I'll probably have a lot more of those happening to me, at least until they find a cure for this. Rigidity is the one that really gets me. That's one of the three things besides dyskinesia, bradykinesia, and then rigidity, one of the three. That is a stiffness or a slowness in movement, which is kind of different than bradykinesia. It's mostly a stiffness, and the best way I can describe it to somebody is, somebody that can feel this, is if you, like in the fall when it starts to get cold and you start to feel the cold in your body, Whereas now we're attuned to it and we can walk outside in a t-shirt and 20 below zero and just go get the mail and not think about it. When the cold first comes on, you kind of tense up your body. Everybody does that. Especially when you're in a rainfall and it's really cold. And you scrunch up your body and you tighten your muscles. That's what the rigidity is, and it's something that's uncontrollable to me. That affects me the most, and especially it's freezing of movements. Like sometimes your body just stops and you can't move at all. You have to really think your way through it. That tends to happen in confined spaces. So when I'm off my meds and I'm taking a shower sometimes, that can be real interesting because I'm in a confined space and I'm trying to wash my hair and I can't move my arms. And I have to stop and just sit there and go, okay, what do I need to do here? And it might take me sometimes 10, 20 seconds where I'm stopped and I'm frozen, I can't move. And I just got to drop my arms to my sides and like, okay, start over, reset here, reset. And I got to work through it. And that's the one that gets me the most of all three of these. And that sucks. It totally sucks. But it is what it is. It's what I got and that's what I deal with. And it only happens part of the time and part of the day. And of the three, I guess it's not a bad one to have. So the normal person is aware of their body and where their space when you're in a space. Like if you're on a subway and you're next to people, you're on a crowded bus or something, you're aware of the people around you. You have that sense of what's around you, and there's a guy over here and there's a person over here and there's somebody over here. You get the natural sense. I don't have that as much. I've lost that in that if I need to move to shake this person's hand, I got to really think about what I'm doing and really consciously realize all the steps that go into shaking a hand, turning and looking and moving my arm down and putting in position and grabbing and grasping and all that whole process all the way through. I got to think about that, and there's a pause everything I'm doing, and it's frustrating, like I said, but you get through it. You just end up getting through it. Thanks a lot for checking in with Drew Abides this week. And hey, remember, check out drewabides.com for some upcoming information. We do have a gig coming up in a couple of weeks at the Popcorn Tavern on March 22nd. It's a Friday. Our first Friday gig in a while. That's kind of fun for everybody. And go down to the bar and check out the posters that are up there because they're really unique this time. All right, so let's take a look at some of our Drew Abides merchandise that you might win by clicking the subscribe button. The tote bag. The colander. The helmet. The tambourine. Water. Not the mug. Water. That's it. There ain't no more. Give somebody a hug today. We'll see you next week.